Ooh, 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 ooh. Hey, I got a lady. I got a lady. I got a lady. Hey, I got a lady. I got a lady. Hey, name is the upper echelon. She a debater, baby, baby. She can give it to you straight, no chaser. She got the smarts. She got the heart. She got the heart. She got the confidence, baby. Confidence. Baby, she the upper echelon. You know you intimidated. Stupid can't play with smart. She got the smart. She got the smart. She got the heart. She got the heart. She got the confidence. Baby, she the upper echelon. You know you intimidated. Stupid can't play with smart. 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 Stupid can't play with smart.
Hey y'all, drop a one in the chat if my audio is good. Please drop a one in the chat if my audio is good. I wanted to come live. This is completely on a whim, completely unscheduled. I didn't even put up my hold on, let's see, put my disclaimer. Give me 1 second, y'all. I wanna have a discussion with you guys. I I knew that the verdict was coming in for Carmelo, and I made a prediction on my wall because I wanted to see if I was right. And so I initially thought that Carmelo would be. And there was some talk about Carmelo, um, the case being completely thrown out, like an acquittal. I knew that that wasn't going to happen because number one, regardless of the situation, somebody lost their life. So that is a very serious thing. And regardless of how people feel when it comes to like the race wars and all, because it's really turned into a complete racial situation at this point. If you guys hear any noise in the background, I have my windows open. My AC went out yesterday. I'm not getting it fixed until tomorrow, so I got my windows open to get some air up in here. But I wanted to talk about this because I just want to see what you guys think about it. And I want to talk very much so realistically about this situation. I knew that it wasn't going to be acquitted. I knew he wasn't going to get off with nothing uh, during this situation. I mean, I'm sorry, in regards to this situation. And I want to see what you guys' thoughts are because I think that people have a hard time with putting race to the side when it comes to situations like this. And I think that a large majority of people are focused or were focusing more so on the racial aspect of the situation versus what happened on that day. Put to the side all of the racial tension and all the historic racism and all of the things that all of the things that we have been conditioned to believe and the grudges that a lot of people. Hold on 1 second, y'all. Give me one more because I don't want any interruptions. And a lot of the grudges that I don't even want to know if I want to call it grudges, but I guess that's what I'll call it because I can't think of another word. That a lot of minority groups hold due to the history of racism in the United States. A lot of people, when it comes to this case, were not looking at things holistically. I feel that's just my opinion. If you notice, I didn't really go live for the past couple of days because number one, I knew that this was not going to be a very long trial. That's number one. Number two, I didn't want to put too much of my opinion on this case just yet. But from the things that we know about this situation, do you all feel that it's fair that Karmelo was charged with the M word? I just want to see what you guys think. And are you guys surprised that he was charged with the M word? Because the other charge, I believe it was manslaughter, and then the other third option was there for there to be a complete acquittal. Let me give y'all my opinion on something. I've been watching no, well, no. Okay, so no, we're not put when I say put race to the side, I want you guys to completely understand where I'm coming from. I'm not saying that we're pretending that racism doesn't exist, because we're not going to pretend that it's not there. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is look at this situation, but as far as what happened between Karmelo and what happened between Metcalf. In this situation, regardless of who's black and who's white, not saying to ignore racism, because no matter how much you do ignore it, or if you choose to ignore it, it still exists. So we're not going to pretend that it doesn't exist. But what I want to do is I want to have a real conversation about the situation. Excuse the siren. I told you I had my windows open. About the actual aspect of the situation. Now, I watched a blogger um yesterday. What's his name? Uh Carlos. Hold on, let me see. What is his name? Because I was just watching him. He made a lot of really, really good points. What's his name? I know somebody in the chat can tell me what his name is. Carlos King, maybe. Hold on, let me see. Carlos. No. He's always doing car giveaways. He's a really no, that's not his name. That's not Carlos King. What's his name? Hold on, I'm trying to find something. He's a big blogger. He's always doing like car giveaways, but it'll come to me. But anyway, so I was listening to his podcast yesterday, and he made a lot of good points. Is it Carlos King? Is that his name? He made a lot of really good points, and one of the points that he made is that we have to teach our children how to defend themselves. Not only that, but we also have to teach our children not to be bullies. So he was saying that he was getting a lot of hate in his comments, and he had to really like check those people because he was being realistic about how he felt. And I think a lot of people were upset because he wasn't taking a side one way or the other when it comes to the situation. Now, when it comes to social media, it's very difficult for an influencer or a blogger or a content creator not to choose one side or the other. And some people expect that you're supposed to choose one side or the other. They want you to be on this side or that side. Now, in some situations, content creators will say, you know what, unequivocally, that was completely wrong, and this is the side that I'm on. But there are some cases in which because all of the facts have not totally been presented, we don't know everything about the situation. It's a little difficult to say, oh yeah, well, he was well within his rights. Now, in this case, I was watching somebody, I don't even remember who it was, but it was a blogger that was there at the trial. They were live at the trial. They were standing outside doing commentary. I don't remember who it was. It may have been Meek at Night. But in the midst of them doing commentary, there were people in the background that were protesting. And there was a Caucasian guy in the background who was protesting. And he was basically saying that African American people need to come to Christ. They need to come to Jesus and stop glorifying violence, stop glorifying gun violence, Chief Keef, destructive rap music, and all of this. And if they come to Christ and stop glorifying those things, then Caucasian people, including himself, will accept us into their society. Now, I had a problem with that because if you ask me, that is the same mindset, that is the same mindset that got Austin Metcalf unalive. Now, that might come off insensitive to some people, but it's just simply the truth. That mindset is the mindset of a lot of Caucasian people. They have for some reason, they have like this feeling of ownership. and they think that they can move African American people or any minority for that matter around how they please, how they choose to. How they choose to. And if we don't obey or listen or conform to what they say or what they think or be where they think that we should be, then they have the right to protest, or they have the right to object to where we are, and they have the right to move us around. And that is something that is historically been ingrained in a lot of those Caucasian people. It just is what it is. And I think that that was the problem here. And I'm not trying to be offensive. However, in this situation, Austin Metcalf was being, for lack of better terms, a Karen. You're not doing what I want you to do in this moment. You're not where I want you to be in this moment. And I'm telling you that you need to leave, and you're not leaving. And so now, because you're not leaving, now there has to be some sort of conflict, or I have to bully you out of where you are. And I thought that was one part of the trial that I really didn't agree with, because they made, in the arguments, they made it a really, really big deal about whether or not Karmelo was supposed to be there or not. What is the culture of track meets when there is a tent up and there's a track meet? What is the culture? Are you to sit with your team or your people, or can everybody kind of just mingle? And I disagreed with that, because I felt like whether he was technically assigned to that seat or supposed to be there or not, that's not even the issue, because at the end of the day, it wasn't Austin Metcalf's right, nor was it his position to tell him to move. And unfortunately, a lot of these children, because I believe Austin at the time was 16 or 17, a lot of these children are listening to their elders or the people that raised them. And now they have that mindset of superiority where they feel like they can tell people of color where to be. And if they don't conform to what they say that they should do, now it's time for conflict. When are these people going to understand this is not your land? You don't own this. You have no control over where we are. And this is a systematic historical problem that has existed within the United States for centuries and centuries and centuries and centuries. So I want to go back to the comment that Lachelle made where she says, I can't put that to the side. Well, nobody can put it to the side, because that's the reason we're here. And a lot of people are saying that it has nothing to do with racism, but it does have something to do with racism. So I'm definitely not asking you to put it to the side. But what I'm asking the chat to do is to think about the situation minus the racial issue. Same thing that they would ask if you were sitting on a jury. However, the situation, I would agree, absolutely happened due to race. If Austin Metcalf didn't have the mindset that has been instilled and ingrained into him and for centuries, and his family over centuries and centuries and centuries, he wouldn't even had the mindset to say or to believe that he was, in such a position to tell somebody that they needed to get up from their seat and go somewhere else. So that is a systematic historical issue that we have in the United States of America. You don't have a right to tell somebody where they should be if you're not in a place of authority, you're not security, you're not a police officer, or you don't have some sort of title which would give you the right to tell somebody, hey, you need to be moving to this place. Then he didn't have a right to do that. So that part is what I understand. And that's the part that Carlos King pointed out yesterday when he dropped his most recent upload. But what Carlos King also touched on is It seems that we cannot change the society that we're in quick enough, meaning that it seems that we are where we are in society with the racial tension, with the mindsets, with the feelings of superiority by some Caucasian people. So we have to teach our children as African American people, how do we defend ourselves? What do we do in this situation? When is self-defense warranted? As most of you guys know, I have been covering the Ramika Meeks case. Now, these are two different cases. This Ramika Meeks case is in Illinois, or I don't even want to call it the Ramika Meeks case because she's not on trial. So I'll say Illinois versus Holly Johnson case here in Illinois, and then Texas. You have one state that is a stand your ground state, and then you have another state that is not a stand your ground state. They abide by the Castle Doctrine here in Illinois, but it's not a stand your ground state. Now, we have a whole stand your ground state where the law says in Texas that if you feel threatened, if you're in danger, if you're facing bodily harm, then you have a right to defend yourself with lethal force. That is the law in the state of Texas. But if you guys can remember, I told you all, I want the last live stream that I did on this Karmelo situation, I told you guys, number one, those laws don't apply to African American people. That's number one. Okay, we just gonna be honest here. Number two, whether you're African American or Caucasian, even if, now this is something that I have been preaching in this case that I'm covering with Holly Johnson, even in a situation where you feel that you have all rights to defend yourself with lethal force, you still will have to defend yourself. Historically, in the United States of America, the laws, the judicial system has not been on the side of African American people. Period, point blank. Has not been on the side of African American people. So, as a African American, I always think that it is super, super crazy when an African American person gets online live or says out of their mouth, because I think it's very dangerous to spread that type of rhetoric, to get online and say, oh, I would have did, in regards to Holly Johnson, I would have did the same thing. It's not safe for you to do the same thing. You have to understand where we are in as a society. It's not safe for you to do the same thing. You're going to have to prove vigorously that you had to do what you had to do. In this Karmelo case, the reason why Karmelo was charged with unaliving is because they didn't believe that lethal force was necessary in the situation. I'm gonna drop the link. Hold on, because I saw somebody ask for it. Hold on. Please. Now I'm asking you guys in the chat. I'm asking y'all, do you all feel that in the case, we already covered why Metcalf was wrong? We already covered why Metcalf was wrong. Okay, so we talked about that. Now let's talk about this. Do you all believe that in the situation that Karmelo was in, that lethal force was necessary? Do you think that he had to stab Metcalf? And so I'm gonna let y'all up here because I want to hear what you all have to say. I'm not gonna be live super long, y'all, because I actually took a break from my work to do this. I want to hear what you guys have to say, and then I want to know, what do you think was considered in the courtroom? Because from what I've been watching, and I have been watching closely, I want to say maybe 6 witnesses that got on the stand, all of which, no, 4 out of 6. 4 out of 6 witnesses, from what I understand, were people of color. All of them said they didn't believe that it was necessary. One of the witnesses said they didn't even think that the altercation between Austin and Karmelo was going to even escalate to the point where there would have been a fight. Okay. So according to witnesses, there was a shove and then there was a stab. So I'm gonna let y'all up. Let me see. What's going?
Hey.
Hey, Malish, I'm gonna go ahead and mute and
Ooh,
I'm gonna let you talk.
okay. So from my understanding, I'm not sure if they were people of color. I'm not sure. But from what I was told and from what I heard, they had all the witnesses together in one room. And also from my understanding, when the defense also brought up about, having an all white jury, then he said that that wasn't fair. Now, I want to let y'all know Carmelo can appeal this. When I read the M1 is all tied together with a felony in a um misdemeanor charge. So in the state of Texas, it depends on what they want to classify you as. So when we hear that he had that, it don't have to be a felony. I don't think it will be. The reason why I said that because some of the things that I read and I looked up myself were to me was self-defense. When I read the clarification, because there's a stand your ground state in Texas, and if you feel like you're in imminent danger and you have four people around you and you have two people initiating a fight, that is what it can be. Now, I'm gonna tell y'all what they changed to go in their favor, the way I feel. There is a policy that anybody can go with any tent under any kind of weather. That policy did not change until they had a crime scene at their school. The reason why those coaches sat there and said what they said, and those kids, because I'm going to tell y'all right now, they're going to have lawsuits because a coach is not supposed to tell a student that they have to tell another student to do anything. That is why that does not happen. Another thing I found out was there were motions in Carmelo's favor. There's going to be everything is not out, but when people read the motions and they read the full detail of this case, it's going to be an eye opener because you have the victim's father, the DA, and the judge that are friends, and they let
Let,
that
let me
slide.
let me ask you something. I'm about to
Yeah.
in a minute. I'm about to read something in a minute, but I want to ask you something.
Okay.
Okay, so thank you so much for coming up
You're welcome.
and giving your I don't know if y'all follow Malish, but she has a platform. And let me just say, you have a wonderful platform because
Thank
she
you.
covers entertainment. She does the mommy sector. She also does politics. So she has a lot going on her channel. It's very interesting. So if y'all are not following Malish, go ahead and subscribe to her because she has a great platform. So I honored you came up here to speak on this situation because you have great content. I want to say, what if you feel comfortable? Do you? The question that I want to ask you
Hmm.
is, in a situation, I want you to put yourself in the situation, right?
Yeah.
And there are a lot. Well, I'll get into that later. Put yourself in the
Yeah.
situation. You are at. We're not going to even say a track meet. I'm going to say you're at the store, or not
Hmm.
the store. You at the mall, right?
Hmm.
And you sitting down and you eating at the food court,
Hmm.
and a Caucasian person, I'm gonna say woman, make it equal,
Yeah.
woman, comes and says you need to get up, right? Now, most of
Hmm.
us not getting up because I know I would, and I'm pretty
Yeah, I'm
sure you
not getting up.
wouldn't. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, because but so and then it seems that this Caucasian woman is getting aggressive in her
Right.
tone, and it seems that she may get physical with you,
Hmm.
and then out of nowhere, you get up because she's getting closer, and she pushes you.
Hmm.
Um, would your reaction be to stab her?
No, that wouldn't
Why
be
not?
my reaction. I would have hit her back. That's
Now
would have been my reaction.
let me ask you, why wouldn't you have stabbed her if you had a knife? If you had, you just say you somebody that carries a
And the heat
knife
of
to
the
protect
in the heat of the moment, I wouldn't even think about it. Um, now, if I was in a situation like that before and I felt like something happened, and that has opposed my judgment, yeah. But just because of my mindset, no, we gonna have to. I'm gonna record, and then because I know you gonna call after I do what I do, and I'm gonna have to record it.
Now, me personally, I'm scrappy. You push me, I'm gonna beat your ass. Period. Point blank. I don't care how old, especially, and I don't mean to sound
Yeah,
because I'm not. I love all people of all shades, but just
right.
due to the racial history in this country, I'm just
Mm-hmm.
gonna assume that you're racist. So now
Right.
we gonna fight. But
Yeah.
but then this is the thing when it comes to Carmelo.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to Carmelo, the reason why I give him, I don't 100%, and I know a lot of people are scared to say it, especially due to the racial undertones with the situation. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm here to give my opinion on my platform, and my opinion is: do I think Carmelo should have stabbed him? No,
No.
I don't. I don't. But do I understand why he did?
Yes.
Yes. And the
Yeah, I
reason
do
why
too.
I understand, and see, the reason why I understand why he did is, number one, this is a young man who is 17 years old, who doesn't have
Mm-hmm.
a whole bunch of experience in the world. He doesn't.
Right.
He who's to say that he is 100% educated on how
Mm-hmm.
to deal with conflict resolution.
Right.
So I do feel, because I put on my community wall, that they should
Mm-hmm.
not have charged him with first degree unaliving
No.
because of, number one, because of his age, because you
Right.
have to take into consideration not just the
But
situation, but
exactly.
their maturity level. He may not
That's
have
why I
known
think
how to handle that situation.
right. And that's why I think he getting an appeal because when they go, because when I heard another lawyer say he can get an appeal and win it, because you got two things. She say his defense attorney, because she can look at what we can. She was like, his defense put in motions. But because I believe that the victim, father and the DA are friends, I believe they was like, well, we gonna do this for you. That's what
Well,
I
say that
just
again.
I
You
don't
said
know why. The
the
Met
victim.
Austin's dad, the judge, and the DA are friends.
Word.
They got photos. Yes,
Then he shouldn't have been able to
yes.
be
But but they said that he can because supposedly those are old. But people were saying those are not that old.
let's answer this. Well, you my co-host for today, Malisha,
Okay.
if you feel like it. So Yetta in the comments said, "I heard Carmelo was jumped." That's why I think she meant to say. Well, she said, "I think that's why he used the utility knife. It
Mm-hmm.
wasn't one on one allegedly." Now I didn't
No.
hear. I heard rumors that he was jumped, but it came
Right.
out from what it seemed that he wasn't jumped. But however,
Well,
even though he
yeah.
wasn't jumped, there was a potential of him being jumped, which would go towards his
Right.
reasonable fear, because
Not
there are
right.
two boys that are siblings that are present,
Right.
and you got to
Right.
be crazy if you think that his brother didn't
Friends and
save him.
siblings. Right. I feel
So
now I'm gonna tell
go
you what
go
I
ahead,
heard.
go
I
ahead.
ain't mean to cut you off. Someone in my chat said, when I was on TikTok, they came up and they said, from my understanding, there were two different videos. One they didn't show, but there were I heard this from people that was there. They got to see them videos, and he was jumped. So I'm kind of
Wait, who
like
saw the videos?
the people that were there, the media. Some of them saw the video, the correct video. They used the video for prosecution. They didn't use that full video.
See, I didn't hear about a second video. I know that it
I
was
heard it was a second video. But see, here is my thing. I want people to understand Texas and how Texas operates. Texas is one of the most racist states I have ever seen, next to Louisiana and Alabama. Texas, right now is to start anything at this point because from what I heard from people that have been convicted in Texas, they saying that a lot of the stuff that has been going on with Texas and their laws are going to now be exposed if this boy gets convicted. And they told me that, and I was like, I don't think, they was like, no, it's a lot more than what people think it is. Especially with that, because when I read it, the tool was a 3.5 and it only went in 2 inches. So a lot of people are saying if it went through 2 inches, it didn't connect to the heart, then how do you do that for him as charging him
Well,
as felony?
I was just watching some coverage. Not
Mm-hmm.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you?
I was just listening to some coverage not too long ago, and basically what they said was, and I do based off what you just said, that is true.
Mm-hmm.
I've been saying that on my channel forever that
Mm-hmm.
Texas is extremely racist. I had people in my chat trying to debate on it, but Texas is racist as hell.
Taste
I
is
always
race. Yes.
so what I now correct me if I'm wrong because I
Mm-hmm.
am open to correction if I'm wrong. Now,
Mm-hmm.
I heard that the tool, I like that word, I'll use that. The tool went in 2 2 inches.
Yep.
However, according to the medical examiner, what happened was it almost did not go directly in. It penetrated his heart, but then it also almost filleted. It was almost
Mm-hmm.
it was filleted open almost. And because it punctured a particular artery in the heart, the bleeding, he bled out. It wouldn't stop. And so
Right.
that's what I heard on the. Somebody trying to come up. Who is this? Can you? I'm sorry. I recognize the name, but I want to make sure that this is who I think it is because I don't just want to let any people get up here and start
Oh yeah.
showing balls and ass. I don't know. I don't. So if you could turn your camera on for 1 second and then you turn it right back off, I just want to make sure that this is that you're not. I think it's Trina, but I don't know if it's her for real, because you got to turn your camera on, Trina. Then I'll let you up. Go ahead, Malish.
But I heard that too. But he had put in a motion to talk about Austin's behavior, and that was denied. And I find that strange because why didn't you do that when you know he has a history of behavior? It's not the first time.
Oh no, I
So
definitely heard that he was a.
yes, very
Yeah.
yeah. So
I heard he beat his daddy up.
yeah, they broke his dad's collarbone.
Yeah. So if you
Yeah.
beat up a grown man,
You can be you he could have hit him the wrong way as little as he is, and that's what I felt like they wasn't able to use, because I feel like Mike didn't get the cross-examine like he was supposed to, and I felt like the judge felt like he can do anything. That's why I feel like an appeal would be a win, and I
mhm.
just feel like that'll be have to be one, because ain't no way you could tell me that man didn't get the cross-examine like he wanted to as a lawyer, but you got the prosecutor doing that. Doesn't make sense to me.
Oh,
That would make sense.
here,
Yeah.
let's go over some. Let me read this. Let's read this real
Okay.
quick. So it says, um, under Texas law, the M word, okay,
Mhm.
requires proving the defendant intentionally or
Yep.
knowingly caused the unaliving of another person, while manslaughter requires proving reckless causation. Anthony,
Mhm.
being 17 at the time, could not face the death penalty due
Right.
to Texas law. The jury could have returned a manslaughter verdict, which carries a maximum of 20 years, or an unaliving verdict, which carries 5 to 99 years or life. The defense objected to criminally negligent homicide because they did try to present another charge, and
Right.
the court overruled it. Now, so let's talk about the actual charge and
Mhm.
what needs to be in existence within the case for a person to be charged with that. So it states that under Texas law, it requires proving the defendant intentionally or knowingly caused the death of another person. So
Right.
one thing that I noticed that they kept on bringing up in during not deliberation, but during arguments was, or that the prosecution brought up during arguments was that
Mhm.
Karmelo, and it was a witness actually said this too. I want to hear you guys' thoughts on this. That Karmelo was actually sitting there and he had his hand inside of his bag, according to some witnesses. And then I guess because he saw that tensions were rising and Austin Metcalf looked like he might get aggressive. Let me see if
Right.
somebody in this chat. Hold on.
Okay.
Okay, let me let her up. I think that. Hold on.
Okay.
Go ahead and hit. Hold on one second. Go ahead and hit the link again, Trina. You let me see. How do I drop this link? Hold on. She funny.
That was her.
Okay, so I don't know, but I ain't gonna say what she said. But so a lot of people were saying that he basically was saying, if you touch me, watch and see what happens,
Right.
or something along those lines. Which the
Right.
prosecution brought that up because they were basically saying he knew what he was doing. He had time to think about what he was getting ready to do. It wasn't a heat of the moment type of situation. That's why I feel that they brought it up. And well,
Right.
how do you feel that that affected the
I
outcome?
feel this month because I heard that he grabbed his book bag. Even Hunter said it in his interview that he did with his mom that they touched his book bag. So if he reached in his hand, how can he nothing fell out? That make no sense because if you grab somebody's book bag, which is you touching somebody's stuff and you touching them and you grabbing their book bag, I'm trying to figure out if he grabbed a book bag, how did that escalate to that? Because ain't no
Wait, hold
way
on.
you could.
You saying that
Mhm.
Metcalf
Yeah,
grabbed his book?
grab the book bag. Yep. Yes. It's in the interview. He said they grabbed his book bag and tried to get him to move.
Hmm.
And that's why I'm saying something ain't sitting right with me with this thought of how they came back in 3 hours. It just don't because before even they did a talk to the jury and picked, the defense was trying his best to have it a mixed jury. The judge said no. He didn't see no problem with them not having one.
A mixed jury.
He said they don't need to have one.
I ain't gonna lie to you. I personally, first of all, let me just say this. I really didn't think it was gonna matter either way, whether it was an
Either
African American
way,
jury or not.
yeah,
I really didn't. And the reason I say that is because at this point, and this sounds horrible, but I've really kind of lost faith
mm-hmm,
in our people and how we stick together
yes,
because
yes,
I was so completely disappointed and really heartbroken by the whole Rick Child situation and how the
yes,
man chased he really I want to say he hunted that boy, chased him
yep,
down, unalived him, and walked free.
mm-hmm,
And it really was very, very discouraging to me to find out that there were a majority of African American people on the jury.
mm-hmm,
So when I found that out, my mindset kind of changed about things. Like, where are we
yep,
as a society? Like,
right,
we don't have each other's back like that. So I
right.
really
We
don't
don't.
feel like, and this is another case that happened in the South too. And you would think that, because I don't live in a southern state, I'm in the mid Chicago, but from what my understanding of, the South has a long history of racism
Right.
and division. And you would think that due to that history, that African American people would be, sticking together. But I guess I don't know. Because that situation, the Rick Child situation, happened right before the trial began with Carmelo. I just didn't have faith that even if it was a mixed jury, that it would make a difference. Because not only in the Rick Child situation did he get to walk free, but it was a unanimous decision, meaning
Yes, it
nobody
was.
disagreed.
Yep.
So I just, that was very discouraging to me.
Right.
I let the Queens Den. Can you say something for me real quick, Queens Den?
Hey, can you hear me?
I can hear
Hey.
you. And Trina, you can come back, girl. If you want to, you come back. I dropped the link. How you feel about the situation, Queens Den?
So I'm here and I'm not surprised at
Right.
all.
Yeah.
Um, it has been a lot going on in McKinney, Texas. Let me just say that.
Yes.
I can't confirm everything, but to my knowledge, there was a lot of evidence
Mhm.
a second video, and a few other things that were not admitted.
Yep.
So I don't believe that the jury made the decision with the full picture.
Exactly.
Um, to my knowledge, what they were told was only Austin
Mm.
um, approached him. They didn't hear the version that said four people approached him. They didn't hear a version that said he was beat up or anything like that. So I can't confirm that.
Was Carmelo beat up?
Yes.
That's
From
the
what I
that's the
understood, that's the
secondary
story.
version.
Right.
Yes.
He had a black eye on one of his mud shots, and you could tell he was in a fight.
So yeah, it's a lot. I do believe that there's a lot of misinformation, like those pictures that are circulating
Mhm.
are not accurate.
Okay.
But there is supposed to be a familiar relationship, but those pictures are not it. So I think
Okay.
we probably just need to kind of, wait and see what
Wait.
happens
Yeah.
and what was not submitted when we're able to see the
Right.
full, like all the motions and things
Mhm.
like that. I think that it will give everybody a bigger picture. But based
Yeah.
off of what the jury was given, I mean, I can understand. I don't agree, but I can understand how they came to the conclusion they weren't given anything.
They wasn't.
And I know a lot of
And
people
See,
are
that's
saying
that's
the
what
attorney
that's
wasn't good, but we
right.
don't know what he was
What he
denied
put
to
in,
do.
right. That's what I was saying too.
see
I heard
that's
that he put in motions, and there were certain things he wasn't allowed to do.
He wasn't allowed
see
to
this
say, he wasn't allowed to question. I heard
Mhm.
it was witnesses he wasn't allowed to
Yep.
bring
see
up.
this is what I was saying too when I initially started the live. My point too was trying to say that he can't can you all understand is what I was trying to ask earlier
Mhm.
why the verdict was reached. And due to the information that has been presented to the courts and to the jury, I kind of can understand. However, if things also, I got some new information today that I was unaware. I didn't know that the DA, the judge, and all these people knew each other and were friends. And it seems like there's a lot of underhanded stuff going on here. So, however, the reason that I wanted you guys' opinion is because I wanted to know if the version that we've been presented that Carmelo, this is the version that I know. I don't know about anything else. The version that I know is
Yeah.
that Carmelo went to a track meet. He sat under a tent that uh, of I guess a team that wasn't his. Austin
Mhm.
Metcalf thought he had the authority to tell him to leave, and
Mhm.
it caused a debate between them, and Austin Metcalf pushed him, and he stabbed him. That's what that is what we have been told. So if there's anything else, and a lot of people are bringing up the defense and how the defense didn't really do their part, and so
Yeah.
maybe that's the reason why I'm under the impression that that's the way the things went. If things,
Mm-mm.
and so my thing was I wanted to ask my chat and you guys, if things did go that way, what would you have done? And that's kind of why I asked Malish the question that I asked her about the scenario in the mall. And I guess I'll ask you too, Queens. Then, if you're in the mall and you're sitting somewhere and a Caucasian woman walks up to you and tells you that you need to move, and you say no, and then she gets aggressive and then essentially pushes you, shoves you, and you happen to have a tool on you, would you do what Carmelo did in that situation? I just want to know your.
Um, I don't think that that's my first reaction necessarily. Um, but it's up though.
Yeah.
I'm matching
I know it.
energy.
No, it's definitely up. We tearing the food court up, most definitely. But
Yeah, but I don't think that would be my initial, like, you need to get up, okay, bow, and I'm right at you. Like, I don't think that I would do that. Um, but then I mean, if it was her and her whole family and they surrounded me while I'm sitting in a chair, I feel like that's a whole different that's a different scenario. And that's why I said I feel like the jury may have had a difficult decision because I don't, to my knowledge, they didn't hear that. They made it sound like it was a one twin versus, like a one on one
Right,
Yeah,
with
right.
maybe a few
that's
other
Uh,
people saying
Cree,
things around but not involved.
right.
Cree, can you, if that's you, Creisha, can you mind turning your camera on real quick before you come up, and you can turn it off before you come up. I just want to make sure it's you because it's a lot of angry,
Oh yes.
angry Anglo Saxons and stuff running around the internet, and I just want to make sure nobody come up here doing nothing strange. That's a shame. I can't just let people up. This is just.
I
Uh,
know.
I
It's
also
it,
we
with
we
this.
all saw that interview too from the beginning.
okay,
Hmm.
I'm
it's
sorry,
her.
but
It's
that
Go
okay.
ahead.
interview
Go
from the
ahead.
beginning that Hunter did, the
Yes.
jury didn't hear anything about that, where he admitted
What?
that was not a part of court. So to my knowledge,
Oh
I'm
my
not speaking as
God.
if it's fact, but to my knowledge,
But
that was not presented. So they
I
don't know
don't. I
anything
don't.
about that.
Right. I don't think it ever was. That's why I say if he doesn't appeal, it might go in his favor, because everything wasn't presented like it should have been. It wasn't.
What do you? Yeah, I'm gonna let Creisha go. What? Because
Okay.
I want to know. So yeah, well, I guess you're right, Malish. You're right
I can hop down. I
because
just wanted to say that from somebody close by.
Okay.
oh,
You well,
thank you so
thank
much.
you. And be careful, girl.
I know them folks
I
out there
will.
is crazy. Hold on, before you get down, girl. I was looking at somebody's live coverage, and I'm talking about. Listen, I didn't even know that
they
people
on
still
war.
acted like this. The
Yes.
Caucasian, one of the Caucasian gentlemen who had I think he had like a Confederate flag, and then there was another guy,
Mm-hmm.
and he
Oh
was like,
yeah.
if you people, if y'all would come to Christ, then we would accept you. And I was like, who can't? These people really are under the impression that we are seeking their acceptance. Oh
Yes.
my
Yeah.
God.
I can't say too much, but I'm very, very close. When I say very
It's
close, very close. And
Are they really like that, or was this like just
Yes.
they were just
no,
being?
so it's twofold. Yes, it is really like that. I mean, you could see a
Yes.
Confederate flag on the highway at any point in time, or in your neighbor's driveway, like at any point in
Yep.
time. Now, are they as bold all the
No.
time? Not really. I've never seen like a direct conflict, but it's plenty of Confederate flags in these certain neighborhoods. Um, Frisco ISD, McKinney
Yep.
ISD. I'm very close to both of them and the area, and so yeah, I'm trying to figure out how
Yeah,
to
that's
say it
crazy. Welcome up,
in a
It's
Neil. Hey,
way.
scary.
Creisha. Hey,
Myself, my child,
Hey, I'm sorry, I
and
was
others
on
have not
mute.
experienced it
Right.
in that manner, but it is visible that okay, that that neighbor over there, don't nobody go over there, by his house. But then
Mm-hmm.
everybody just keeps living and having
Keep
a
doing
good
it.
life.
Yeah.
That's the best way I could explain it.
Yep.
So yeah.
I said that mother crazy as hell. Talking about
Oh
some we would
no,
have.
they
Oh
I'm
yeah, but no,
sorry.
but
they out here. They out
yeah,
here.
they showing they getting up
It's
in
whole
black people
neighborhoods
face and
of them.
everything. They're all in people
And
faces
then
and
here's the crazy part though, y'all. This dude, and matter of fact, it was on Carlos King upload that he just did because he don't do live streams. I don't think he did an
mm-hmm.
upload, but the guy was like, we would accept you into our society if you guys would stop with that rap music and glorifying violence. We would accept you into our society. But my thing is that what makes them think that this is their society? And it's that
What?
mindset that got Austin Metcalf unalive because y'all
Right.
really think that this is yours. Last time I checked, you all are classified as European. The only true
Mm-hmm.
Americans are the natives. So what?
Mm-hmm.
So what makes you believe that this is yours to where you can say that you can set these rules and guidelines? Even though I do agree
Yeah.
that we shouldn't be glorifying violence, but I don't think that we're the only people of the
No.
race that glorifies violence. So I think that's a
Mm-mm.
huge stereotype. But for you to feel like you have the authority to set these guidelines, and if people don't follow them, then we don't accept you, as if that matters. Like, who are you?
It's funny they say that when they don't mind listening to our rap music and all of that and dancing to it and then want to rap themselves. That's the
And
funny
doing
part.
TikToks and making thousands of dollars
Right.
on TikTok doing dance
Right.
moves from African American artists.
Right.
Thank y'all
Yeah.
so much.
But you know.
Creisha, I think you were
You're
up
welcome.
here next, and
Hey, yeah, hey
then
everybody.
Mia.
I just wanted
Hey.
to
Thank you, Queen
answer your
Pen.
questions. Can you re-ask that question so I can remember what I was gonna
Oh,
say?
you talking about the mall scenario? So
Well, yeah, like if it was
let me
somebody that
yeah, let me do the mall scenario first. So uh say you go to the mall
uh-huh.
and you go to the food court, and naturally you sit where you want to sit, and
Mm-hmm.
somebody walks up to you, a Caucasian woman walks up to you and says you need to leave, and of course you're going to say no, because who wouldn't? And because you refuse to leave, she then begins to get aggressive, and you believe that she is, this is going to get physical. She then shoves you. What would be your reaction, and do you feel that fatal fatal force is acceptable in that situation?
Well, okay, in that situation, I probably would just beat her ass. Okay.
Right.
Simple as that. You know what I'm saying? But in this situation, I would say it's a little different because it wasn't just one boy by himself, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I would say that that's different. I wouldn't say I would know what kind of force should be used in that situation when it's multiple people that's bigger than him, that's football players. Then that would change it. But if it's one person, then we can get our one. But if it's more than one of y'all, you don't. And in this situation, we don't know what his mind was thinking because he is in a state with high racism.
Right. Yeah.
So I think if it was flipped around, you know what I'm saying? If it was flipped around and it was three black boys or four black boys or five black boys that was in Austin's face and he did the same thing, we would not be here right now.
Mm-mm. And you know
What do
what?
you
I'm
think
glad you
about?
said that.
I do agree with that. Let me change the scenario. So it's two women, right?
Mm-hmm.
One of the women is really the aggressor because she's the one that wants you to get up, but she has another white woman with her, and she's not alone. And both of these women, they are somewhat larger than you.
Hmm.
Um, you happen to have a tool on you. We know what tool means.
Hmm.
Would you do what they did? Would you do what Carmelo did in that instance?
So I'm gonna say possibly because because it's still two of y'all and it's one of me. So possibly because y'all could do anything to me in this moment because you're still more equipped than I am by myself. Possibly.
Was
Yep.
it was from what I'm hearing up here, which I didn't know. Uh, the next question that I'm gonna, but I want to get to Neo first, and then I want y'all to answer this. Well, it's kind of already been answered, but was information withheld? So you all are saying that he was jumped, like they beat him up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's not the information that they're presenting to the media, and that's not
No.
the information that they presented in court. So I guess
Mm-mm.
we're going to have to see about some charges against these people, because it's just no way that that shouldn't have been presented. If he was beat up and he had all these injuries, then it should have never been presented in court that it was
Well,
a simple shove.
okay. Okay,
And
well, two
and
things, right?
also the witnesses, hold on, also the witnesses got on the stand, from what I understand, and said that they didn't even know that it was going to get to the level of a stab because it wasn't a real physical altercation. Now, this is what the witnesses are saying. Now, I don't know what's being withheld. I haven't gone that deep to know all of that. Now, Malish said that, or I don't know if it was Malish, but somebody that was up here said he had a black eye. I didn't see
Well,
that
I would
picture. I would
say,
love to.
okay, let me say this. I'm gonna jump down. Well, I would say that if there was information withheld, to be honest, I'm gonna be real. The best way for us to find out if to find had found that out is if they would have
Mm-hmm.
put him on the stand.
Exactly. They didn't get a
Wait,
He
chance
should have,
to.
repeat that. Repeat
if
that.
they would have put him on the stand.
Hmm.
Because can't nobody tell your story and what happened better than you.
Oh
Right.
no, 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 no,
They
no.
didn't.
That
They
is
didn't
the
put them on
worst
the.
thing. No,
Not
that is
to
the
me,
worst thing.
in
No, yeah,
some cases,
well,
but not in
go ahead. I
not in a
disagree.
situation like this.
I don't,
Mm-mm.
in my opinion, for what I've seen, what I researched, and for what I know, I think it is a horrible decision for somebody that is defending themselves to ever go on a stand to be cross-examined by a prosecutor. Um, no, I don't think that Carmelo should have took it. I don't think. First of all, I think he'd have been convicted either way. But I
Yeah.
don't think that it would have been a good idea at all for him. Neo, you can come back. I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna let you talk. I don't think it would have been a good idea at all for him to get on the stand.
Well, and
They
let me
would have
tell
ate
you,
him up.
in a lot of cases, I feel the same way. In this one, I just feel totally different because if you got beat up, if you got jumped, get up there and tell the world yourself. You know what I'm saying? So they can actually see and know why you acted in this way. You know what I'm saying? Like I do. I think in this he should have. I do.
Yeah, they would have ate his ass up, Creature. I'm sorry. They'd have ate him up.
Yeah, they would have tried
They'd have
to.
made him contradict himself. They'd have made him look like a liar. They're very good at what they do. They would have made him look like a
Hmm.
liar. So I don't know. I respect your opinion, but I just don't know, Creature. If I was the defense, I would not have my client get on the stand in this situation. It's too
I
fickle.
mean, they didn't.
It's
They
not
didn't. They
open.
didn't call. They didn't have enough witnesses to not put him on the stand. I'm gonna just be real. Like and you know, everybody's mama, it's their kid. They're gonna get up there and they're gonna say he's a good kid and he's this and he's that. I just feel like he should have spoke for himself. In some situations, I believe you should speak for yourself, and that's why you have attorneys to prepare you the best they can
Right,
for
but I.
prosecution.
Yeah,
Hold
but
on,
I think that.
I'm gonna let Neo
Oh,
go because she's been waiting to speak. What's going on, Neo?
I'm good. I wasn't in no rush. I'm just listening. I just wanted to make a quick comment, and I'm gonna hop down. Okay. Um, can you hear me? Because I know I got my Bluetooth on.
Yeah, I hear you good.
All right, real quick, I'm just a quick comment. To be honest with you, Upper, I don't know how I feel to be a parent. Like I do, like my heart be going out to some of y'all who be raising kids, especially in this country, knowing that you got to prepare them for racism and capitalism and all that stuff. I really don't know the tough decisions parents have to make when they trying to keep their kids safe. But to be honest with you, and it's just like me being real, if Carmelo was my son and the mentality that I have now, I wouldn't even took a chance of my son trying to receive a fair trial in this country. I would have helped my son escape, and I would have got him out of this country. I wouldn't even have risked it, to be honest with you, knowing that the state he lives in. As soon as I saw that jury, I would have got my son out of Dodge, and I would have just had to face the consequences. They just would have had to prove that I helped him get out the country. You get what I'm saying?
Boy, that boy
I
he ain't
would.
had no that'd have been ideal, but he didn't have he wouldn't have had no way to escape. They was watching that boy
yeah,
like a hawk. He
they
wouldn't have
Yeah,
been
were.
hey,
able
it's
to.
way, it's ways you'll be surprised. There's plenty of if you go to the most what's that called, the FBI most wanted list and go look at them people be getting they be leaving all the time. But to be honest with you, like just not trying to take this left. That's why I said this mine is just a comment and I'm dropping down because the ladies up here doing a good job on the commentary. But when I really thought about this, I said I wouldn't even had risk my child. I would have known he wouldn't have been able to get a fair trial because of the color of his skin in the country we live in. I wouldn't even have risked it. So
I feel
that's
you
just me
on that.
personally.
Yeah, I feel you on that.
So, because I mean, I'm from Florida. I know better. Florida is racist too. Y'all talking about Texas,
Yeah,
Florida too.
Florida too. Yeah, that. Yeah.
Florida's
You
terrible.
know what?
Okay,
A,
you
a lot
piss
of
one of
these
them
southern
hillbillies off,
states,
they see you in the Everglades. Huh? I'm
Mm-hmm.
sorry.
a lot
It's a
a
delay,
lot of
sis.
these
My bad.
southern states. Oh no, it's okay.
Yeah.
A lot of these southern states are like this. This is something that it goes all the way back to slavery. I mean, this is a historic thing that's been going on for centuries and centuries. Not saying that racism doesn't happen in other regions of America. Obviously, it does, but in the southern states, especially, I mean, historically has been very, very racist. That's why I was so surprised when I had people in my chat the other day saying, "Oh, I live in Texas. Listen, I've never dealt with racism." Man, I urge people to I urge people to understand that when we're talking about something holistically, we're talking about something as a whole. I don't like when people speak as an individual. Okay, so because, and I gave the example that if I'm working for a company, right, and I have
Mm-hmm.
a horrible experience with that company, but
Mm-hmm.
you happen to have a great experience with the company, and I speak on how horrible my experience was, and the person that had the positive experience say, "Oh, that's not true because I had a great experience." Just because you had a great experience does not negate my experience. So
Right.
if
Right.
a majority of people are saying that this, I have experienced racism in the state of Texas, just because you haven't does not mean that it doesn't exist. Maybe you just got lucky. I don't know. But it don't mean that it didn't happen. And there's too many people saying that there's racism in the
Right.
judicial system and otherwise in the state of Texas. So I believe it. I've been told, I was told years ago when I was considering moving to San Antonio, you better not move to Texas because if you jaywalk there, that's what I was told as a joke.
Mm-hmm.
But saying, and so they're not about to play with you as an African
Yeah.
American person in the state of Texas. That's just what it
They
is.
don't. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Special K, I
But
recognize your name, Special K, but there's somebody in the back whose name I don't recognize. If you don't mind putting your camera on for me and I'll let you up. Go ahead, Neil.
no, you good, sis. I'm gonna drop down. Good commentary, but I just wanted to let you know that my mindset that I'm never confident in the justice system here. You already know how I feel about jury selection. I really feel
Oh
like
yeah.
experts should be jurors. It's obvious that this stuff is set up to help certain people of certain protection, complexion of protection, for them to get off on the most heinous crimes, or rich people to get off on heinous crimes.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's obvious that bias definitely played a role on that, because when I found out the prosecutors struck three black women, and Thomas,
Mm-hmm.
he struck them because they was educators. Like, we're not stupid. You
Right.
struck them because they were
Oh
black.
yeah, because it was black.
Exactly.
You
I'm a
knew that they was. See, yeah. So, but all right, sis. Thank you.
thank you so much for coming up, Neo. I appreciate your input. I have a
All right.
blessing in the back.
Peace.
Blessing, you can turn your camera off. I'm gonna let you up. Thank you. Welcome up, Blessing. Welcome up, Special K.
Hey ladies, hey ladies.
Hey.
I just want to
Hello.
say, I live here in Dallas and the city is very upset about the situation. I kind of already
Yes.
felt like this was gonna happen. But my question to you ladies is what I'm struggling with is, if I get it that he went under the tent and they asked him to leave, but these are kids. Since
Thank
when
you.
another kid can tell another kid to get out and they supposed to listen?
Exactly. That's the
Why couldn't they
question I've
go
been
get a
asking
coach
all
or
day.
somebody with authority to say, hey, he's under our tent. Can you tell him to leave? But let's keep it real. If the shoe was on the other foot and it was a black boys under the tent, they would have welcomed that white boy in because it's raining. It's
Mm-hmm.
raining. What's the
Mm-hmm.
problem? So they want to
You
say
know what,
don't call it racism, but it is racism. It is.
you know what, Blessing. I'm so glad you said that because that
Mm-hmm.
is so true, and I didn't think about that. You know, a lot of people have so many negative. There's so many negative connotations when it comes to African American people, and
Yep.
but what a lot of people don't like to talk about is how welcoming and forgiving Black people are,
Yes, yes.
and they would have. I mean, if when you look at social media and you see the dance videos and they of the Caucasian people, you look at the comments. Oh, you invited to the cookout. We're very, very welcoming type of people. So that is absolutely true, Blessing. If the shoe were on the other foot, I would ask the chat that. And um, there were in Austin and his brother were African American, and Carmelo was Caucasian. And he came under the tent. Do you think the reaction would have been the same? Because I don't think so.
I
And
don't
I'm
think
glad you
so
Nope.
said
either.
that.
I don't either.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
No.
Because we wasn't, as kids, I can speak for myself. I was never raised to hate white people. Never. My mama never
Exactly.
told me any of that. I didn't see color. I had white friends as kids, Hispanic. I wasn't raised to hate black people. I mean, hate white people. But
Exactly.
what I was raised, my mama did tell me, don't you start nothing. But if they come
Mm-hmm.
bothering you, You get them up off of you.
Mm,
That's the only thing she said.
exactly.
She didn't tell me to hate
Yep.
nobody or nothing like that. But I feel like we as Black people, it's a blessing and a curse to the way we was raised because we are so welcoming. We treat people how they treat us. We treat people with love. If you mistreat us, we're gonna mistreat you. But if you're treating us
Hmm.
with love, we have no reason to mistreat you. And it's kind of a blessing and a curse because that's why we are being mistreated. And another thing I want to say is if y'all feel like question about this, if it was an all black juror and the shoe was on the other foot, and it was a white boy who killed a black boy, do you think the black people would have been fair?
Mm,
No.
that's a good
Hell
question.
yeah, they would have been fair.
Some of them
I
would
feel
have
like
been
they would have
I
fair.
been
think
fair
they would have
too.
let a lot of evidence come through, and they would have examined the evidence more so than what they was given in this trial. Because this trial, they wasn't given much to go over because a lot of factors played into this. Like I said, the guy named Eddie is friends with Carmelo. He and the Metcalf twins, they were friends.
Remember, he
He
tried to say
came
he
over.
wasn't friends. Remember, Eddie tried to
He
say
was
he
trying
wasn't
to say
friends.
he wasn't his friend, but the defense debunked that. They got
Mm,
pictures, they got all of that. Carmelo came over there talking to another track person in their on their team. They got to talking about sports. And he said, y'all sucked. Well, the two suspended Metcalf boys got mad because they play football. But a lot of that wasn't admitted into court as evidence that they just come back off suspension. They were suspended from school for the same attitude. So the coach, he should have been brought up for scrutiny as well because he told Austin, go over there and you need to step up. You need to
mm.
step up with more authority. How are you telling him to do that to another child? He's a child. None
Right.
of that was brought out except when the defense got up there and was asking Eddie about it. He asked Eddie, why did you bring your phone out? He said, well, I brought my phone out because I knew that they were about to get into it. He was finna video it. But then he turned around and come back and said, I didn't video it. I just played like I did. That's because the daddy was sitting over there in the courtroom
Right.
and he was telling him what to say.
Hmm.
Because Austin actually was he had a whole person indifference of size. He weighed what, 213, 220? Carmelo
Mm.
weighed 130 soaking wet. That's a whole nother person. That's a 90-pound difference.
I got that is a 90-pound difference. And from the photos that I've seen and from what I've read so far, he was significantly larger than Carmelo.
Hmm.
Here's a good question that I want to, uh, just ponder about. How do we defend ourselves? So,
Hmm.
how do we defend ourselves? That's a good question because, like I said, I was watching Carlos King uh, content yesterday, and he talked. And the thing that I like about Carlos King is that he's very non-biased. In some
Hmm.
situations, he's pretty dedicated about what he believes, and that's normal. But in some situations, he will remain pretty in the middle and fair about it, and that's why I like his content because he's fair. And in this situation, he I liked the content because it made me think. And he said what we need to do, or what he feels like we need to do as a society and as a people,
Mm.
for white and black people. And one of those things is we need to teach our children that we can't bully people and that we can't do those types of things because you never know how somebody is going to react, and it could essentially cause you your life, right? But then he
Yeah.
also said that there's another thing that a lot of people are not talking about, especially the content creators and people within the African American community, and that was how you defend yourself. And that's why I like that comment that Tanya made, because Carlos basically said we have to teach our children when to defend themselves and how to defend themselves. When it is appropriate to defend yourself with lethal force, when it is not appropriate to defend yourself with lethal force. And after he said that, it really made me think because I said, well, that is the reason why if I was on the jury, I would have not convicted Karmelo of first degree unaliving. The reason being is because he is a child. And who's to know that he knew when or when not, or when it would be appropriate? This is something that comes with age, maturity, and experience. When do I know that I should pull out this tool and use it? Because I'm in a situation with two boys that are significantly larger than me. One of them has shoved me. I don't know if this is going to escalate. He could have been very much so confused about how to handle that situation. Not to mention, they are in Texas, a state that is clearly very much so racist. He may not have known how to react. So I completely disagree with the outcome because I don't think that. And then another part that really saddens me is the fact that he poked him. I'm using that word one time. He ran away. He was immediately remorseful. He asked, "Was the boy okay?" So it's not like he did it to be malicious or he went there looking to do this to somebody. So you know, um,
He
that's
asked
just how
several
I feel
times
about the
at that
situation.
too, because the officer testified, said that
It,
he even
it
asked
is
on his
like
way down to the police station.
right,
I would
right.
say to speak
Oh,
on
so he
your
said it on
question.
the way down to the police station. Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
I would say to speak on your question, Upper, because I have a 15-year-old son as well. As I said, we do live in Dallas, and my son goes to a high school. And I always tell my son, make it back home. If you make it back home, mama got you. Because I feel like whatever the situation is, if you see, just be aware of your surroundings. Pick and choose your battles. If it's something
Mhm.
that you feel like it's not right, remove yourself from that situation. But if you get home and you let me know what happened, we can maneuver the situation. I can go to the school. I'm gonna do all of that. We're gonna go to school, we're gonna talk about it or whatever. I would just say that's how we defend ourselves. Pick and choose our battles. Remove ourselves from situations as that. When Carmelo seen how they was acting, you know what? Let me just remove myself from this tent and go somewhere else. Because I don't have time for this.
Yep,
But it's kind of
yep.
hard to do that, even as an adult, even
It's
with myself. It's hard.
It's hard,
it's
but
hard.
I
Even you
agree
you
with
you
I
so
agree
right.
with that.
But
Even
it's
as an
necessary. It's necessary now.
even you're right. Even as an adult, it is hard to make that distinction. And then a lot of people will say, "Oh well, he could have just got up and left out of the tent," which he could have. However, when you think about the history that we have in the United States of America, if a Caucasian person walk up to you and tell you
Hmm.
that you need to move, what
I'm
you
not.
really finna do?
I'm
I'm
not
not,
going.
and
That's why I
I'm
feel like
not.
there should have been some black jurors. There should have been some black jurors because there should have been some black jurors because me myself at my big old age, if a white person or even a black person, we ain't gonna even make it about race. A black person tell me to move. Who you talking to? You don't tell me what to do.
Yeah,
Like
we're
that's
just
what the
conditioned
hell?
to do that. We're just not going. You're just not going to tell me where I can be. You're not a person of authority, and this is why I said that
Right.
Metcalf had a Karen moment, and that Karen moment got him unalive. A lot of people were saying
Hmm.
that that Carmelo Anthony's parents should have raised him in a way to where he understood that that was not necessary. What he did, okay, fine. But Austin Metcalf's family, they clearly, because see, racism isn't something that you're born with. It's something that
Hands
is
taught.
instilled into you. So somebody
It's
taught him
taught.
that he had the
His
authority
daddy.
to tell an African American person where they could and couldn't be. And he actually believed that he has that authority as a Caucasian person in the world. And
And
see,
you
this
know
is a
what, Upper, you're
problem.
right.
This is a problem that exists within the, because they always want to talk about the problems that exist within the African American community. So the
Hmm.
problem that y'all have in a Caucasian community is that y'all believe that y'all have this authority to try to move us around, and y'all
Hmm.
don't. And now you see us getting you killed. So it's some things that need to change within y'all's community. Because this is not 1953 or 1949, and we not sitting at the back of the bus no more.
Uh-uh.
Our
And
children don't
you know
believe
what?
in that stuff no more.
You're right, Upper, but we have to look at it too. Um, Look at some facts too that they could have used to say Austin, had some animosity in him towards Carmelo. Carmelo has a Caucasian girlfriend. Okay.
Mm.
Yeah. He has a
But when it
Caucasian,
comes, when it
but
comes, but hold on, special K, because when it comes to the racist aspect of this situation, I don't think anybody is thinking that Carmelo is the one that had the issue
no,
with the
no.
superiority and
I said the
racism.
McCaffs have the issue with Carmelo because
Oh, okay. I'm gonna let you go. Go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
Carmelo was what you would call, if the shoe was on the other foot, he would have been white privilege. You understand what I'm saying? Because he would have been the one come from this great family. Carmelo comes from a very decent family, and they do have the means to fight. They do have the means to have him a good defense appeal or whatever. They do have the money to be able to, financially. His family was stable. The Metcalfs are not. So they do have that mindset that you're talking about, that you're speaking on, and you're absolutely right. They have that privilege. I can tell you what to do because I'm white. It's nothing to do with money or anything, but in their mind, here's a black guy with a white girlfriend, come from a nice home, come from, structured family. Dad has a decent job that he can take care and live in an upscale neighborhood behind some gates. This boy come from over there, basically, I would say somewhat trailer park, and they didn't have those things, so they had a little animosity towards him from the gate. And his friend Eddie didn't do nothing but help that along, because he basically called Carmelo over there. See, this is the things that didn't reach the courtroom, didn't the media didn't get a lot of this, because they didn't want to play it up like Carmelo was that guy, because they didn't want to step on the white supremacy people by saying, "Oh, Carmelo, they approached him because he's this, he's that." So they had to play him down like he's trash and he's this, and he did this on purpose because he was jealous of the twins, and it was so far from it. If you would have heard all of this in court as a juror, you could have made, okay, so I could see where this, hostility coming from with
Right.
the Metcalf. If you
Right.
put his life out there, and let's not forget, Carmelo suffers from epilepsy. The judge said, no, we're not going to play that in there. We're not going to play that card. Oh, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? Because he is not the type to go, and he has them frequently. He's not the type to go out there and start a fight knowing his health condition. That's all the more reason why he would get up and walk away. And he never did get up. That's what the policeman, all of them, coach, everybody said. Carmelo never got up until
Mm.
the guy walked up on him. He was close enough. He had a what you call that? What
Tool.
Malish called that
A
tool.
tool.
He
Yeah.
had that tool, which was a Boy Scout tool, and it has a screwdriver on it. It has a can opener on it. It has all of that on it. But they didn't want you to know that. They wanted you to think that it was something that he had intentionally to harm someone. No, all of the kids. The coach said it. All the kids carry 'em. The the guys. They clean their cliques with them, but
Mm.
that never was told.
Mm.
So, it's a lot of things that they let slide. The public knew, but they couldn't. It wasn't allowed into the courtroom because their minds was already made. We could sit here and say we can do this all day long, but at the end of the day, we don't know what we'll do if we are in that circumstance. When it come down to it, you a scared kid. You could do like Malish said. You walk away. It doesn't make you less than a person to walk away and you get home and I'll take it from there as your parent. That's true. I would tell my son the same thing if I had one. I would tell him that. But I wouldn't I'm not gonna never tell my son to walk away, you know, and let somebody just bully you and keep bullying you and keep bullying you. Because it was four people against that boy. And he's 130 pounds. These boys are big football players. They throw the disc. They don't run in track. They throw a
Yeah,
disc.
I'm listening to you. But certain things I didn't know. I didn't know that it was four people against one. I didn't know
And
that
Eddie
part.
was one.
I didn't
Eddie,
either.
his friend, was one.
I thought it was the Metcalf and his brother.
Hmm. It
Well,
So
was
then
you
that
it,
first
saying
it was
four
that
people?
would be then that should be self defense. That's 4-on-1. He
that's
had to
where
defend
it that's
himself with
they
something.
didn't want to admit that.
But where
Wow.
is this information?
This information was brought out in court when the defense asked Eddie questions.
That
Yeah,
it was that
you
Eddie was one of the people that was trying to beat up Carmelo.
Eddie is the coach got up there and even said that Eddie they had to hold Eddie back because when he realized that Austin was no longer with it, he broke loose trying to they was chasing Carmelo
Oh,
and
you
they
talking
didn't
about
even
after the fact? After
after the but he was
the
sit
fact?
Eddie sat by him. He moved from where he was under the tent. He texted Carmelo and asked Carmelo to come over there because him and Carmelo are friends. So he
Mm,
come over there really just shooting a breeze with his friend, and he
mm.
sat down next to the friend that he was talking to, which was an Caucasian. Eddie walked over and moved the Caucasian guy that he was sitting there talking to out the way and sat down next to Carmelo. They were all sitting there just talk. He was just talking. So they was talking about sports. And that's when Carmelo said, garbage. He said, y'all suck. Y'all was garbage this year talking about the football team. Austin M came over. Austin M proceeded to get into a confrontation with him. The brother did, not Austin, the brother. So Austin came over and he told Carmelo then he had to leave. So you just think about it now. You counting. Eddie came over there. So did Austin and his brother
But
and
Eddie is the
another
one
guy.
that invited him over there.
So that's four guys
Wait,
really
hold on.
sitting.
Eddie invited him over there.
Yes, Eddie. They got the
So
text message where Eddie told him to
when
come over there
did
to
Eddie?
where he was.
So when did Eddie become somebody that was because okay, I'm just trying to get the scenario because this is not what I was understanding happened. So Eddie was also a person that was going to fight Carmelo
He was
before or after.
he was going to fight him after. He pulled out his phone during the argument when it
Okay,
started getting heated. He pulled out his phone. He said he was and defense asked, "Why did you pull out your phone?" He said so you knew that it was going to be an altercation or a confrontation or some sort because you asked him to come
so
over there.
who who was accosting Carmelo
The brother, the
before
twin,
this happened?
the
Okay, so
brother.
where we got four people from?
Carmelo came over. Eddie
Right,
texted him, told him to come over, right? That's one. Eddie was the number one person to tell him to come over. He was over there under the tent. Him and Eddie are friends. When
right.
Carmelo walked under the tent, he went and talked to another friend of his, which was a Caucasian guy. He sat there, was talking to him. Eddie came over, moved the Caucasian guy down, like, let me sit by my friend. And he started, him and Carmelo and the guy was talking about football. The twin was over there too. Not Austin, the other guy, the other twin. He came over there. They proceed to get in a little, spit swap about sports, which that's what boys do. So then when Carmelo was getting the best of them, far as what you would call just, talking, how we can get the best of them, as they say, janking or whatever. So he was saying how garbage they was. He got mad. Austin brother got mad, and so did Austin. They got mad because they play football. And He said, y'all suck. And they went from there. So when Austin wants to get up in his face and, start talking, he was that close on him. They said Carmelo never stood up. He was sitting down the whole time they was talking. He never stood up and got aggressive. They got aggressive. They was around him. So instead of Eddie saying, well, come on, Carmelo, let's go, let's go. No, he pulls out his phone and pretends like he say he didn't. He said he was just pretending, but he didn't. They never did show. They wouldn't let the footage show because the defense asked for his phone to be confiscated so he could see how close he was, or what went on to lead up to that. They broke out. They said it was so fast a fight, but they broke out. All of them put hands on him, pushing him. He stood. That's when the brother grabbed the backpack, and us, what's his name? Carmelo grabbed the backpack back, and he got that tool out, and he was just that close on Austin because they was trying to basically get him down, tackle him down. He swooped right there, and it was just that fast. This boy didn't even know. When he did it, he took off running. They took off running behind him. They didn't even know. Austin didn't even know he was stabbed until he looked down and he said, he stabbed me. And they said he proceeded to fall.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that rundown, Special K. I'm listening to it. It's just all very surprising to hear all of that.
And the coach that was walking up, that walked up, not the one that told him, the one that walked up and caught Carmelo coming, Carmelo was running from them. He even said, I don't think Carmelo intended to do that. I think it was to get those guys off from around him. He said, because when I
Okay.
stopped him, when I
Let
was
me say
told to
this.
stop him.
Let me say this, right? And see, hold on. Let me say this. So, in a situation where somebody loses their life, um, things have to be very clear when it
Mm-hmm.
comes, especially when you're saying that you're defending yourself and you use fatal force to do so. Um, and so, I truly believe that the trial should have been longer. I think it should have been more detailed, and they didn't even deliberate for 3 hours. I think more time should have been put into this, considering one life is gone and another one it potentially could be incarcerated for the rest of his life. When it comes to self-defense, things have to be clear. I need to know, like, if I'm on a jury, I want to know, like, so I'm hearing that he got shoved, but now I'm hearing that there was other things happening. That somebody tried to snatch his book bag and all of this. It sounds to me from what you said, it didn't. I didn't hear you say that he got physically jumped by several people. What it sounds
No,
like from what. Correct me if I'm wrong, but what it
it,
sounds
it, it
like.
wasn't it wasn't physically jumped. He
Right. So
was,
hold on. Let me
yeah.
finish. Let me finish. So I'm not speaking in terms of what I believe. I'm speaking in terms of the law. So I'm not speaking in terms of what I think Carmelo should have gotten or what I think is morally wrong or whatever, because I already stated what I think should have happened. But legally speaking, if you're on a jury and you're hearing, you, you know that in order to say that he was in his right to use this type of force legally because it was a reasonable belief that he would be harmed. I think one of the things that the jury definitely took into consideration, or should have anyway taken into consideration, is what happened physically. Because when it comes to a self-defense claim, we're not talking about potential. We're talking about what happened actually, not what could have
Mm-hmm.
happened, not what because we can get into what you think could have happened. Because when you get into what you think could have happened, that goes into the territory of reasonable belief. which would have gotten
Mm-hmm.
him a manslaughter charge. But that's really hard to say what he believed or didn't believe, so that's kind of iffy. But when it comes to self defense, to say that he had to poke somebody to get them from around him, that is kind of that is very very in a gray area. So
Mm-hmm.
so you have to. Okay, I ain't gonna say you have to remember because I know you obviously know what you're talking about when it comes to this case. But when it comes to somebody being unalive, right? They're gonna look at everything. What? Why was it necessary? How many people attacked him? Was he physically harmed? And then after they get out of the territory of what actually happened physically in that moment, then they can go to what he thought may have happened. What was his belief reasonable? Now I think that his belief was reasonable. Now that I'm hearing that all of these people, you had Eddie, you had the brother, they were both significantly larger than him, and you got somebody else on this side. So it is reasonable to believe that he would possibly face some serious physical damage if all of these people are teamed up against one. But let's get into, but then that's a whole nother charge, which is why I put on my community wall, I predicted that he would be charged, not charged, I'm sorry, convicted of manslaughter. Because how can we tell him that he wasn't afraid when he's clearly outnumbered and also the people are physically larger than him? Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so that is, how can I tell you what you didn't think, right? But that's one thing. But what I was waiting for you to tell me is who actually touched him, who hit him.
They didn't,
Because
I
they're saying,
didn't get that
because I
part.
got
I
people
didn't
in
get,
the
but
chat.
I
I
heard
got
it
people,
was a tussle.
it's
Now
people
they
in the
did say
chat
it was a
saying,
tussle.
it's people in the chat saying that he was jumped and that there's a
Yeah,
second
they,
video.
well, I
Now
don't know if they consider tussle and jump the same, but they said that it was a tussle between the twins and him, and Eddie wasn't
Yeah, I
trying
heard
to
that
help
too.
Carmelo.
Now, what I'm also hearing is that there is more than one video. One video was allowed in the trial, and then there was one video that wasn't allowed, which is
Mm-hmm.
crazy because if there's a video that shows that contradicts what he's been convicted of, I think that's completely wrong. And if the general public know that there a second video exists, why is this happening and why is this being allowed? I'm
The
completely confused.
guy outside the courtroom kept saying, one of the workers at the stadium or wherever they were, he said, I have, they not telling you all everything. They're not
Yeah, it
showing
was at the
the
courthouse.
actual, yeah, he was at the courthouse. He kept saying, they will not let me in to show the actual footage. Those guys, now he's the one who said they jumped him. He said you can see it plain as day. They
Oh,
surrounded
you
that boy.
talking about the guy that I think I know what you're talking about. You talking about the guy, the African American guy. He had glasses on or something, and he was standing outside of the courtroom. And one thing that he said that stood out to me was that the video was so clear he could see the raindrops.
Yes, that's him.
That's you. Okay, I know who you're talking about.
And it
Yeah,
was a
okay, I
heavy
do
set.
remember that.
He said, if they allow the video, the actual video from, he said not the one that they showed. The one that they showed only shows him like breaking loose, running away. It's not showing the actual altercation. Is what he said. They didn't do it.
Okay. So they didn't show the actual
They
altercation.
they wouldn't show it, and that's what everybody's so heated about because it was so much missed evidence. How could you come to? I mean, you know what? If anything, I would have been okay with them if they had left with reasonable doubt. Without, we can't a mistrial because we can't come to self defense or we can't come to murder. We can't come to manslaughter, mistrial because I can't send this boy away or give him any type of punishment and he's not wrong. If
Okay, I don't.
anything, I would have stood on that
And then see
mistrial.
that's okay. So that's my problem with it because again, I put that on my community wall. What my prediction was, because I just didn't imagine that he would be charged with first degree unaliving, considering the circumstances. There was two siblings there, significantly larger than him. He
Yep.
didn't start the altercation. There we technically are not going to be able to tell him how he feels or felt in that moment. So I don't see how they positively could just say 100% without a shadow of a doubt, this is first degree unaliving. I just can't. I just don't understand how they got to that. And then that's kind of how, I guess, how we got to the topic of racism, because clearly Texas is a whole different animal. Okay,
I
because I
think
don't know
their
what.
minds were already made upper. And to answer your question, their mind was already made because the judge was kind of intimidating. He
Yep.
he was very, very, I would say he come out the gate biased to me. The stipulations that he put on and the things that he was saying to the jurors, and it was a lot of jurors, even I have to say Caucasians, that was making some good points. They were saying I can't be biased. I can't be biased because he's a child, and we don't know what a child feel in the moment of being surrounded by guys of their size. So dismiss. Anybody that lean to the left of things for as looking at it with a open mind, he got rid of them. If you come in there and say, yes, I can make a decision, I can make it, I can do it, and lying through your teeth, you stayed. You stayed. And that's the way, because one lady got up there, she said, he's a child. I can't, I can't do it. She said, because he's a child, and I can't say that. Or, and then the other one got up there, she said, I need to hear him say, I need him to defend himself. I want to hear what he has to say. So she stayed.
Yeah, all of this is crazy. You got some people. I know Creisha was up here not too long ago. Creisha was saying that she feels that he should have gotten on the stand. I personally don't, but there are people in the chat that feel like he should have. And I'm wondering, would that have made a difference? I think it wouldn't have. But I mean, some people think it
Yeah.
would have. Maybe some people feel like if he were to express what he felt in
The
that moment and
judge
why.
turned his head and let the father,
Yeah. Oh, he did?
the witnesses,
Wait, what? Oh. Hmm. I'm
he
not
turned his
Well,
surprised.
say
head.
that again.
The
I didn't hear you. Say what now?
He basically turned his head and let the father sit there and nod yes or no when Eddie was up there and the other witnesses. Those it was so conflicting. The witnesses that the prosecution put up there, everything that they said, the defense come back, rebuttal, asked the question, and caught them up in nothing but lies. Nothing but lies. It was conflicting stories. Everything that they were saying was conflicting. That's why I said, if anything, I would have walked out of there as a juror. I would have walked out mistrial. I'm sorry. I can't make no decision because this right here we can't make no decision off this. We got a piece here and a piece there and a piece of truth here and a little lie there and a piece of truth. No, we can't do that. We got to have the facts, and we have to have all the facts laid out in order for us to come to a conclusion of manslaughter or murder. How did you come away with murder in
I would, I
all?
would, I would have, if I would have. I don't disagree with a manslaughter charge. Nope.
You don't disagree with what?
No, I don't. I don't disagree with manslaughter. First degree
No,
Right.
murder.
I don't
First
disagree with
degree
manslaughter
murder.
because it was
First degree
done.
murder. It was done, and it didn't, in my opinion, have to be. But
Mm-hmm.
and we also don't know if he reasonably could have possibly felt that he was in danger. So legally speaking, I don't think that that would have been a incorrect charge or conviction. I'm sorry.
Mm-mm.
Now, the first degree unaliving, I think that I don't think. Excuse me. I don't think it fits the situation at all. I think that I'm really still trying to wrap my mind around how they came to that conclusion.
Because to listen, let me say this.
And then I'm hearing that all of these, and then somebody in the chat just said that one video, there were two videos. One video
Mm-hmm.
was shown, one video was shown to the jury in 4K, and then there was
Mm-hmm.
another video that was blurry that was shown to spectators, which was fuzzy and not
Mm-hmm.
clear. I don't
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
agree with that. They should. I feel like it should have been. They should have.
The same.
Excuse me. Exactly. I don't agree with that. They should have. It should have been the same video or show both videos to the jury. I don't understand that and how. Well, I do understand it. This is America, but yeah, it shouldn't have happened.
Well,
Um,
we have to look at the administration too that's up there in the White House. And I mean, come on, it was a little strong arm in there sending the Proud Boys down there and all that
yep,
kind of
yep.
stuff. So
Did you
we have
see?
to
Did you
play,
see
all
the
that plays
blogger
a factor.
Nick at Night? Looked like
Yes,
she had broke
yes.
down and she looked scared. Honestly, the Black Panthers had surrounded her to protect her, so you could tell that there was a whole lot of racial tension going on and intimidation going on out
It
there.
was.
Yeah, that was crazy.
But but you have to look at it too. When they sent the Proud Boys down there, I knew then what the verdict and outcome was because that was the intimidation factor. And if you already got a case, you don't have to send nobody to intimidate nobody. If you got this case
Right.
already locked and loaded, you don't have to do any type of tactics. To me,
Right.
now I do say this. I think the defense was poor. They was very shitty. I'm sorry, excuse me for saying them, but they were
Well,
very.
in his
They wasn't the
defense,
best. They wasn't the best. I
no,
think
but
he should have had him maybe a Brian Steele sitting there.
it was only they could use what they wanted to use because from what I heard there were motions put in, but it was up to the judge. And I'm gonna say this:
Oh, the judge wouldn't even do a change of venue. He wouldn't allow
he
that.
didn't. Right. So that's how we know. I feel like the father had strings pulled. And if that's the case, and there are black, and I'm gonna be honest with y'all, NAACP and Black Panthers will be on this.
Oh yeah,
They're
they
going to look
definitely.
into this, and that
Mm-hmm.
father will be in more trouble along with the judge. And
Mm-hmm.
one thing, if y'all are in Texas, you do have, I don't know what this, I think this judge is up. Y'all can get him removed on that ballot.
I would do
I
so.
would do so. In that DA. That's
They
the
would have to
purpose of
go.
the primary. They have to go as long as with Hot Wheels because Hot
Mm-hmm.
Wheels made sure to have this mess go on as well. He got to go too. He need to
Mm-hmm.
wheel him and his wife on out together.
And because the police, the policeman and the coach, both
Hmm.
Caucasian, um, gave very, very, very good testimony. I mean, they didn't utter, they didn't stutter, they didn't do nothing. They were 10 toes down in belief in Carmelo should walk. The policeman that took him to the police station said these exact words. He said he showed uncontrollably remorse. He asked me 3 times in the car on the way, "You sure he's not going to be okay?" And he said he cried all the way there. He cried all the way there. He said it was sad to see him. He was so disturbed about what had happened. He said, I don't think he really knew the damage he had done. He didn't understand. He's a child. The policeman was very empathetic. The coach said, he's a very disciplined child because I told him, stay right here. Let me go see what's going on, Carmelo. He said, stay right here. He said, Carmelo didn't move. He said he went to see what was going on. He even talked to some of the people. He said, when I came back to that spot where Carmelo was, he was sitting there shaking like a leaf, crying. He's So he told that this child is not that type of kid that go out and do stuff like this. He kept saying it, and they couldn't flip him. They could not flip that man, and that man said he never known him to be that type. He was a soft spoken child. and it was genuine. And they told the truth, regardless of what anybody else thought of them. They told the truth. They told their truth from what they encountered, but they didn't tell the public that the policeman also said he has had conversations with the Metcalf kids. But he's been out there before, not to the school, but to their home.
Yeah, they very
So these kids been trouble.
oh
Yes,
yes, absolutely.
yes.
They've been
I
trouble.
want to play something
If
real
you
quick.
watch the oh, okay.
I want to get down to the bottom of this video situation.
Video was on 2 hours. Was it clear enough or was it fuzzy or what?
No, it was clear. It's clear enough to where you can see the actual individual raindrops come by the cameras.
Okay.
That's how clear it is. You actually see them walking up. You see that Karmelo is already up under there. He's under there minding his business.
Dodging the rain or?
Yeah, it was still raining. You know,
Right.
I'm from Little Rock. So that day we were under a tornado watch.
Right.
And we were under thunderstorm warning. And we know we had already had some light rain then, and it started raining again. Then it was over with for the day.
Okay.
So that's kind of what happened on that day. But they were at a rain delay already. And so during that time when that happened, the twins, their two buddies, and a few other kids, because there was a few kids involved with them, they were all coming from the direction of the middle school, coming walking back up.
Right.
On the video, you can see those four that actually was involved, and maybe about 3 or 4 others that was with them, skipping up, trying to catch up behind. One veered off probably toward his way to go to the coach and kind of distract him a little bit. And then the other 4 came walking together. One went in front of them, went past.
Right.
The other 4 went and they surrounded Carmelo. You know, if you're Carmelo,
And they showed that on that video.
it's on the video.
Okay, come on.
You can see them walk.
I'm gonna
up.
say little
And
stuff.
I'll put it this way.
Okay.
They actually tell you when you're watching the video, pay attention to this corner right here, because if you look anywhere else, you might miss different things.
Okay.
So watch those 4. Here they're 4 right there coming up.
Right.
That's exactly what they say.
Okay.
And so you have no way to be confused that it's those 4.
Okay.
So they come up, they surround them, and this immediate moment of not even a few seconds of pause, then that's when they jump. And so
they
was,
actually did jump him.
yeah, it wasn't just no touch. It wasn't just all that moment. Yeah, it was a push. It was all kind of things. But Austin pushed, Hunter hit, and then everybody swung. But at the same time,
So it's more than the twins that got some licks
all
on
4.
them. So it showed that in the video.
Yes, in the video. So again, you got Hunter and Austin standing in the middle,
Okay.
and you have the light bright boy here, and you have the darker boy here.
Okay.
I think that's what I remember. So I have to go back and think about it. But that's where they were. One was going up and down while they were talking and kind of pushing or whatever he was doing. Austin and Hunter was in front. So where they're talking about grabbing bags, Hunter actually said that I grabbed his bag.
Right.
And then later on, he said that that Austin threw the bag.
Okay.
Jeff also said the same thing. And so that's them both antagonizing. And we know under Texas law, I just have the fear that you're about to do something to me and you can get up out of here. Yeah, so you don't have to touch me. But at that point, he still stood there and stopped there. And whatever they say alleged was said, you don't know that until they get into it here. But once they did that, they start hitting them. Karmelo actually was able to back out and try to get away. So he was actually trying to get away the first time. Austin grabbed him, and you can see his hoodie coming out like this, and they brought him back in.
Okay.
And when they brought him back in, that's when you can see Austin put him in a headlock. You can see that all the rest of them are still hitting. That must be when the poke happened, because he was able to get out again. He backed out.
Hold on, let me pause this real quick.
Yeah.
My question is, when are they going to go ahead and make this video to the public?
I think
So
somebody need to reach out and get it.
somebody is going to release it.
So the public needs to see that. Because
Right.
the
So-
narrative, what this man is saying that he saw is not the narrative all his
That they
news
giving.
stations and all the court.
Exactly.
So
Right.
y'all, we got to protect this guy, okay? Because
Exactly.
Well,
we out here.
let me tell y'all who coming out here Thursday. That's how I know that all this stuff is finna come
You
out.
talking about that lady?
And Cornell, and you know they're over the Black Panther as well. So if they're coming, majority of all of them are coming to demand answers.
What's the woman's
So
name?
Candace Matthews.
Okay.
And we need someone on this platform. You
I'm
all
not
could
sure
let
it's
you all be the one leak it.
I'm not sure. I don't have. I mean, I am in Texas, but I
I'm
don't
talking about
have no
I'm
problem.
talking about get in touch with old dude and get his video because he has it. He said the prosecution didn't want him to. They told him he couldn't come in the courtroom. They wouldn't even allow him in the courtroom because he has the
Of course,
video, the actual
Wait,
of
wait,
course, they're
video.
wait,
not
wait, wait.
going to
Hold on,
lie.
hold on, hold on, hold on. You said they
Okay,
wouldn't allow who in the courtroom? They wouldn't allow who in the courtroom?
him. I guess him to come in.
This guy here?
They wouldn't. They wouldn't let him.
I But I heard that all the black bloggers that were there. That's not the only person I heard. Neek even saw the video. She
Yeah,
got to see the
Queen
video.
Sheba did too.
Yeah, Queen Sheba got to see the video.
Queen Sheba come out and on her platform and told everybody
Uh-huh. That
she
she saw
saw
that
it,
video.
and she said the
I don't
video
know
is
who that
not the
is.
same video that is being
Everybody that is out there said the same thing.
Here, let me finish playing
and
him. I need to
Queen Sheba
find
even
Queen Sheba.
said it's not
Who
gonna
is
go
Queen?
well.
I gotta find her
Mm-mm.
platform. It's Queen Sheba.
Queen
Yeah.
Sheba, darling.
Queen Sheba.
Oh yeah, I
Okay.
follow her.
He looked to the
Yeah.
right. That's where the other little kid was filming because they got some cell phone footage too. But that's where he was filming. He looked directly at him in his camera, and then he went this way to the left. He went down. He fell, and that's when they realized he was gone. Because they were still punching. And when he fell, that's when they all turned around. They started chasing him. Austin tried to go chase him too, but he grabbed his chest. I guess he realized that something happened to him, and that's when he went down a little bit and he fell down. But all three of them were chasing. But Karmelo was so fast, he got away and went around to the coach. And so you can see them on the video pointing toward Karmelo and the coach. And I can imagine, because Carmelo's out of the camera on that moment, that he was telling the coach what happened. And then that's when Hunter said he whipped his head around. That's a true statement. He just wasn't sitting when he did. He whipped his head around. You see him on the video. And that's when he walked over to where Austin was, but he never touched him. So all that stuff
Yep.
about him rendering aid and holding his heart, and not, he never did that because the coach grabbed him and he was holding him. So at the end of the day, that's kind of where the moment went. But they did assault him, and we'll just play the game. Even if it was just a push, you still assaulted him because it was unwanted. By your own definition in your word of him saying that leave me alone and I'm not going, you assaulted him, period. But they did beat him. And if you look at the, not the photo that Fox 4 put out, because that was one that they actually edited. I have the emails to prove it. But the actual Collin County.
Hold on, wait a minute. Hold
He not
on.
lying. He not
He
lying.
say
Mm-mm.
Fox Pro
Cause
edited the photo.
yeah, they sure did. He
What?
not lying. He not
See, if
lying.
you think about it, for the the three educators that were black
Mm-hmm.
that had access to see the video as well, he
Yep.
dismissed them.
Yep.
That's why he dismissed them. The judge
That's why
dismissed
they
him.
coming out about the relationship because
Yeah,
they feel like it was not fair. So that's why people are even. I'm going to be honest with you. There's some cliff folks that said this judgment was wrong, and they came and
uh-huh.
found the pictures and videos that they were friends. They on their neck.
They
Yep.
found the pictures off the judge
Uh
social
huh.
media page of
Yep.
him and the dad and the district
Mm-hmm.
attorney being friends.
What?
And
Yeah.
they had been suspended. The other coach said they were suspended because they went fishing.
Yep. They sure did.
Wait. Who said? Wait. Hold on. What the hell y'all got going out there in Collin County, Texas? Wait a minute.
They got a lot going
So
on out here.
wait. So now who got suspended?
The boys
The
got
Metcalves.
suspended.
Mm-hmm.
Because they went fishing with who?
They
They
daddy
went, yeah,
and the
and said
and
they
the
didn't have to show up.
they didn't have to show up for the meet.
What?
And guess who they
One,
fish
you
with?
can see the webs and stuff on his
Who?
eye. You can see the bridge of his nose is swollen. You can see the webs under his neck. And so that's the reason why they edited the one from Fox and kind of airbrushed it. And you can see they put the locks of his hair that got taken out as well.
Okay, so now that you've seen that, let me know your thoughts and opinions on this, and I know a lot of different people are going to see this different ways, you know what I'm saying? The thing that I really want to see.
Let's listen to what Carlos said. Is it Carlos or Carlos? Because I see
Carlos.
I
some
think it's Carlos.
It's Carlos.
Carlos.
Yeah,
Okay.
because it's another
Say
Carlos
is I
King on here. That's probably why.
Right, right. That's why I get confused. So his name is Carlos.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
hate that this had to happen, and I hate that he brought that weapon to school, allegedly. Now, the things that people are saying is just so crazy and disheartening. You know what I'm saying? But when somebody does lose their life, it's kind of understandable why they saying what they saying. So I don't want to just get too deep into all of that, but I do want to say, man, the way that people are trying to basically throw this young man up under the bus for defending
Mm-hmm.
himself is crazy to me. But I do understand the knife part, and I'm gonna continue saying this because I'm not here to pick no sides and no shit like this. But I just want to say you need to teach your kids to keep their goddamn hands to themselves for one.
Period.
No matter what the circumstances may be, if they ain't touched you, don't touch them. Sticks and stones may hurt, break your bones, but words won't hurt you. So chill. And also, you got to teach your kids it's a certain level and a certain way to protect yourself. You go to certain extents when it's necessary. Now, he may have felt that way, so that's what people got to take into account. Also, with him being a young man that's not fully grown and fully experienced with life, he may not have known what to do in that instance. But I know a lot of different people would react in that same way. Now, I know if you put your hands on me, yeah, it's that. I don't give a damn. But if
Right.
you want mutual combat, then it is what it is. This was a mutual combat. So I feel like people just need to let the system do their job. But I understand people trying to take sides and want the best for their own perspective. Now, this is the other guy. What he had to say took place in court and what he seen on the video footage.
With the locks of his hair that
Heard him. What do y'all think about what Carlos said?
I believe what he said, but I want everybody to understand this and where we at in this country. I always say this, and it's no intent. We can't fight fair anymore, and we can't let everybody in the community anymore, because what they will do will come in, and then when it get hard and it's time, they run off. We can't do it anymore, and I feel like in certain areas in this country, it's easier to say that. And I'm gonna say this: by him being a black boy who had things and those boys didn't, he was a target.
Exactly.
His father had brought they home. They came from Baton Rouge, and that is the worst area. And they came here. They brought a nice home. The mother's a nurse. The father make his money, and he brought cars. He wanted his kids to grow up with a. The reason why they moved here
A better
because
life.
they a better life, because the crime rate in Baton Rouge is high, and they didn't want him to be caught in it because it's the same thing Louisiana gonna do. They do this the same thing. They have the same laws in a sense. And I think we have to understand that staying in Texas, having these young boys hanging, being strange fruit from trees, having where we heard crimes of a man being dismembered by a truck on the road or
Jasper
being
County.
ran down. We got to start taking into consideration that just because they nice to us don't mean all of them are nice to us. We got to
Thank
stop
you.
going under these comments on the social media talking about you did that, and then they steal your content and you're upset. We have to stop allowing them to treat us like this, and we got to treat each other better, because what is going to continue to happen is, and leaving from TikTok, I'm gonna say this: they have went and said that we don't have the most crime rate. Let's be honest. They have the most, but they have called us every name in the book and
Mm-hmm.
decide to call us anything. I ain't gonna lie, I've been called the N-word and the monkey so much this week because of this trial. It's ridiculous. It shouldn't even be happening. And
I
that's how they
agree.
feel. They feel like we are animals. We cannot play fair anymore. We cannot be resting and take anything anymore, because what they're gonna continue to do is take things away. I just heard one of somebody in Congress say they're taking away Medicaid and food stamps, and insurance for everybody, and it's okay. And they're gonna start with Social Security. We can't. I don't know what it'll take for them to understand that they are on the bottom toll pole. To them to understand that they are not in a economic, the being rich. to even be considered. They have, like, at some point we got to start standing up for ourselves. We have to, because let me tell you something. And it shouldn't make no sense with all these black kids missing and all these people being strange fruit from trees because we keep being nice and think that we can sit at a table of people that don't like us. We got to stop. At some point, we got to focus on what we have to do for better for us. Because I said it before and I said on other platforms, we built this country. We the blueprint. They don't get
Let me tell you
nothing.
something. Let me say this because you're making a lot of good points. But let me just say this. And when it comes to the mindset of African American people here
Right,
in America, and I'm not trying to be controversial,
right.
but I just want to say this. We and this is why my faith in our people has definitely been challenged and tried
It
because
is.
the fact that I mentioned this the last live stream that I did. The fact that
Mm-hmm.
I sat here and watched my own people
Yeah.
glorify and rejoice in the death of a black woman is
Yes.
Mhm.
very, very, very
Yes.
telling on where we are mentally as African
Yes.
You
Americans.
better talk. You
We have
better
a
talk.
lot to
I
work
want to
on.
know you. I really want to know you all's opinion on that as well,
We
because
got a lot to work on. We do. And I feel like it comes from I said this before and I've said it, it's very it's a male centered mindset of acceptance from it's no disrespect to black men, but most black men have this patriarchy thing of they have to sit here and stand it. You cannot, that doesn't work. So turning on black women has always been a thing. And until we get to the root of that issue, we're always going to have these problems. And I don't think we don't understand that. And that's something we have to understand.
And I agree with everything that you said, but my stance, um, upper, sometimes we can be our own worst enemy. Yeah,
Yes.
we can be our own worst
yep,
enemy
yep,
because before we sit down and make things make sense, we'll
Mm-hmm.
jump to conclusion and just
Mm-hmm.
instead of respecting someone else's opinion or respecting someone else's space or someone else's platform, we'll just figure I can just say whatever. I can go in there and say whatever, da 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 da, and spew a whole bunch of lies
Mm-hmm.
instead of sitting down and looking at facts versus feelings before we make our decision on anything. We'll just jump. And that's what makes us our own worst enemy to me.
mhm,
Because one thing we don't,
yep,
a
yep,
lot of us don't sit down and learn the law. It's too much like right. It takes too much time
mhm,
for me to
yep,
actually
For
get
real.
to
yep.
know what's my rights. Because I'm gonna tell you the first one, your rights is learn the law for you and your family.
Mm-hmm.
Learn what you can and you cannot do. You can
Baby, listen,
and learn
because grown,
you can't do what they do.
Yeah,
If
you
that's the
can't.
first that's the first thing you need to do is learn you cannot do
What they do.
what they do. And you can walk the same punishment or
Mm-hmm.
whatever as
I
them.
told you, I said it's crazy how, in my journey in covering this Meeks case, how many African American people were so quick to say what they would do. But you have to really think about the consequences that our people face. In America when it comes to making those types of decisions and saying those types of things, especially when it comes to a situation. Now, that's a totally different situation. That bitch ain't have to do that shit.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but
Yeah,
I ain't
that's
gonna talk
different.
about that. But it's different. But you know, I don't know, just watching our own people, you know, really just rejoice in the death of another black woman. I've never seen anything like it, actually.
Never.
I'm thinking, and I've really, really never seen anything like it. So when it comes to this situation here, and what you guys spoke on so eloquently, I mean, the black community has a lot of work to do.
Mm-hmm. We do.
This picture here on the screen,
Mm-hmm.
somebody, I don't know if she wants me to say her name, but she just sent it to me. It's the picture of Metcalf's dad
Mm-hmm.
uh, at a house party with the judge
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
and the DA.
Uh-huh.
Now,
Wow.
And they go
hold
fishing
on.
together.
They go fishing, and
Wow.
also the father has an essay lawsuit with his assistant.
Yes.
What?
Yes,
Girl,
he
yeah.
does.
Yes, ma'am.
See all the
Yes,
We
moving
gonna have
ma'am.
parts.
to
You see
we
all the
gonna have to
moving
do a
parts
part
now?
two.
Why we said
Yeah.
We gonna have to do a part
that's
two.
why they come so quick with that decision because their mind was already made.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why the judge didn't want none of these people in the courtroom. He kept it
Mm-hmm.
closed to the media because he wanted to be able to do what he wanted to do. And they say he was very hostile the way he spoke to the
Uh-huh.
jury. You all
He
got
used
to
to.
come to a decision, and you're gonna come to a decision quickly because if not, I'm gonna sequester you. No
Mm-hmm.
TV, no phones. I will put you up in a hotel where you
Ooh,
don't go nowhere.
oh,
Yeah, he said
Mm-hmm.
all that.
And also the father is an abuser to the
Yes,
mother.
a known
A
abuser.
known.
And the
yeah. The mother, the father is no longer with the mom. They're
Mm-hmm.
divorced,
he
right?
used to beat
Yep.
the brakes off of it. And the
Mm-hmm.
policeman said, I have had encounters with the Metcalf son and the
Mm-hmm.
father. He was letting them know they have a history.
All of them trouble. All of them trouble.
Yeah, pretty much.
But y'all, we gonna have to do a part two. I really hope Malish go live after I get off because I would love
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
you to go live. 'Cause I need something to listen to because I got to finish my work. This was not a scheduled live, but this was a wonderful build with everybody and just hearing what everybody's opinion on the situation and whether we'd agree or disagree. But it seemed like from what I take from it, it seemed like we all kind of agreed that that was not the right conviction.
Mm-mm.
Yes.
And so Malish made a good point. We can sit back and we can look to see what's going to happen moving forward. I was unaware that I think you said her last name is Candace Matthews
Yes.
Yes.
is on her way to Texas tomorrow, I guess, or
Mm-hmm.
with
If she ain't
Dr.
already here now, but I'm gonna have to look and see because she probably seen all the craziness
Where the
and
Yeah,
judge knew she was coming. That's why he
yeah,
rushed
that's
them.
why he
He
rushed
rushed
it. He
them.
knew because
He
she
knew.
got the tea she got on them. She don't care. She don't care.
yeah. So I'm
She's been on syndicated um
Mm-hmm.
platforms talking about it. And he
Mm-hmm.
knew she was coming once the Black Panther came down there because the situation with Nick and as well as Queen Sheba and the rest of the African American media down there. He knew she was coming. That's why he rushed the jury up. They had to make a decision quickly. He wanted it. He said, "We need this wrapped up before the weekend."
Mm-hmm. And that's why they had a
yes,
trial on a Saturday.
and this definitely was not a. I was surprised about that. Very surprised about that,
Eh,
Malish.
yeah.
But I'm gonna go ahead because I gotta
Okay.
jump. But I want to say again, thank you so much for everybody that came up and gave their opinion and added to the content and the commentary. I appreciate you guys, and I will see you guys soon. Malish, I hope you go live soon to talk about
Yes.
this. I would love to watch
Yeah,
your
I'll go
live stream.
live.
Thank you, Upper, for
Okay,
allowing us to come
I'm
up.
gonna be in the chat.
All right.
No problem. I enjoyed y'all. So I will see you guys soon. Thank y'all so much.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Bye.
Bye bye.
All right. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and pull this picture down. But yeah, that's just the evidence. And shout out to a supporter of mine for going ahead and sending that picture to me so that I can see it for myself. I do think it's crazy that he was able to have it be very much so public that he has a relationship with the judge and the DA, a friendship anyway. So that is crazy. There's so many pieces to this case that I just learned just from being live. I've been live for 2 hours, and baby Malish, Special K, um, who was the other one, Blessing, and so many others came up and really kind of just informed me of a lot of things that I didn't know. So I'm gonna keep my eyes open to see what's going on moving forward. If anything's going to be appealed, which I'm sure it will be, the motions that are going to come out, I'm really looking forward to see what Dr. Candace Matthews has to say. So we'll be doing commentary on that, the aftermath, and I don't in the sentencing and all of those things. So I will see you guys soon. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure before you leave, you go ahead and hit the like button for me. If you're not subscribed to my channel and you're in here, go ahead and subscribe for me and hit the notification bell so that you can be notified of the next time that I live stream or the next time I post content. All right, y'all. Peace.
Oh, 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 oh. Hey, I got a lady. Hey, I got a lady. Hey, name is the upper echelon. She a debater, baby. She can give it to you straight, no chaser. She got the smarts. She got the heart. She got the confidence. Baby, she the upper echelon. You know you intimidate.